Hello again, everyone. So I suppose that we're going to start now. And apparently we have a full house of guests today. And you're very welcome. We're happy to have you here. And please enjoy your time. And in the meantime, we're organizing Genius Talk. And welcome to our participants today. And well, yes, now we have an amazing guest speaker. Her name is Lisa Bowen. Lisa is on a mission to inspire and empower others to create individuals and global abundance. She runs a mindset coaching business. Besides, her dynamic, engaging, and fun character will help you, all of us here, to turn our challenges into opportunity and making change fun. And for today, she's going to speak about positive paradigm in crisis management, because as we know that we are in the middle of an event, a special event regarding our Mother Earth. And in regards of the topic, maybe I'm gonna welcome Lisa to explain more about it. And so thank you for coming here once again, and please welcome Lisa Bowen.
Thank you, Julie, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, well done. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome from London. They come to check up on us. But welcome, everybody, and I'd just like to talk just a little bit about Elise, who you see here. Elise is my alter ego, and she was created after one of my clients described me as a cross between Mary Poppins and a Jedi Knight. And we have a cartoon comic strip, which we've just done the one so far, and we're going to be creating a full-blown cartoon movie in an attempt to meet my objective of creating individual and global abundance around the world. A lightsaber umbrella, but did you notice the parrot head? Did you notice here? She was called MPJK, which is Mary Poppins Jedi Knight, but we think there might be some legal repercussions. So she's now named after my business, which is Elise Therapies. So welcome to Elise. Elise and I do pretty much everything together. Now, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation today because this was very short notice. However, I tend to work more from a workshop perspective than a talk, because I believe that more you're involved and get involved in something, the more you'll learn and retain. So it's all about that. So are you ready to participate? Yes. Are you curious? Okay, I'm going to ask you to be curious, because often I used to be a first aid trainer and nobody ever wanted to learn first aid. It was one of those things you had to do. So nobody wanted to learn it. So everybody would come. And I used to say, if you're not curious, this will be the most boring 2 days of your life. But if you're curious, you'll discover all sorts of exciting, fun things. So just remain curious, because you never know quite what's going to happen. So thank you for coming along. Oh, let's have a look. So your hotel business is ticking along really, really nicely. And then all of a sudden, the government slaps high alert status because the volcano might erupt. You suddenly find you've got a lot of cancellations and your bookings dry up. What do? This is the interactive button. We cry. Okay, let's write this down. We cry. What else do we do? Oh, sorry. Can we have the mic? Can we have the microphone thing? So, sorry, I didn't see that. No. Did you?
Turn it into a volcano watching opportunity.
Turn it into tourism. Tourism opportunity.
Use the time you've got to do all the repairs you haven't been able to do while it was full of people.
Catch up. Oh. What else?
Try to communicate positively, like giving, like the situation is not so bad and it's actually safe, and say why is it safe and blah blah blah.
Okay, so we counteract the negative,
Yeah.
positive. Okay. Counteract. Any other ideas? What else are we going to do? Rebook. Awesome. Put it up there. Any other ideas? Okay.
Offer discount.
Offer discount. So what you just send them elsewhere. Oh. Elsewhere. Sorry, and yours was offer discount. Okay, so that's actually deal with an airline. Yeah. So joint ventures? Yeah, okay, let's put joint ventures. Awesome. Any other ideas? All right. So, hi, if anybody missed that, this is a very interactive workshop.
Could we pass the mic, please?
Oh, sorry,
Could you pass the mic?
What's our goal?
The goal is we've got the hotel has been shut down because of the tourism. Oh, the tourism was slowed down because of the ban on the volcano. What are we going to do? So we've got an imaginary hotel.
But to do from the perspective of the owner of a hotel?
Yes. Yeah. So we're imagining that you've got a hotel at this precise moment. Okay. The government slapped a ban on, or the high security state, which means all your tourism's dried up. What do you do? So that's what we're looking at here. We're finding things that we would do when something sideswipes us. Any other ideas? Okay, so we've got cry, and we probably might cry, and that's okay. We cry, but once we've cried, we actually have a whole load of opportunities here that we can step into. Did you know that more millionaires were made in the Great Depression than the years before or after it? Yeah. So when we have what appears to be a bad situation, there is always opportunity in that. And I like to say that every challenge, every situation that we consider challenging, that we would label as negative, has a gift inside it. But we often don't like the wrapping paper, so we don't unwrap it. There is always a gift in everything. Okay, so we have some here, good chat to catch up on repairs, because that's always a challenge when you're full of tourists. We can counteract it with positive stuff. We can send them, if we have another hotel somewhere, we can send them to a different place. And we can do some joint ventures. Joint ventures can open up all sorts of exciting opportunities that you don't think of when you're just working on your own. So we've got some opportunities there. Yep. Okay. So just good real estate purchase.
Expanding.
Yeah. Okay.
Just expand while opportunities cheap.
Yeah.
So I use have a line for it.
All right. Okay.
Okay, well done. Oh, let me just check on that. Okay, so I'm interested. Anybody here have a hotel business? No? The really sad thing is that, that was pretty much unnecessary from the perspective of most of us. The countries, I don't know if you know, but Australia put out, they stopped the insurance. Companies stopped from September once it was announced, so they wouldn't cover any of the tourists with their insurance. So, of course, a lot of people dropped out. China, as we know, just banned all flights altogether. So it's had a big impact, but there are always ways that we can turn it around. So I'm interested to know what your businesses R. So we've got a dive company. Okay, what else have we got? Rentals? Have you got any rentals here? Okay. Anybody else? What businesses have we got?
I mean, I'm teaching, I guess, now more. Teaching body awareness dance, but I don't have a business.
You don't have a business.
I refuse kind of having a business for some reason intern. I could have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diane, do you have a business? Sorry?
A hotel.
A hotel? In Bali?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is very relevant for you then. Anybody else? Landlord? Oh, does that come under rentals? Author? You're an author, okay.
Business accelerator programs.
Business accelerator programs. Thank you. See? Okay. Anybody?
IT
Rob?
management consultancy.
IT management consultants. Can I just put consultant? Or IT consultant?
Restaurant.
Restaurant? Okay.
And if you add investor, then I can say that I'm investing in Bali.
Investor. Awesome. Okay, so if we have a look at those, which of those would be affected by our current situation? So dive company would be affected. Yeah. Rentals would be affected. Hotel definitely be affected. Author? Yeah. It may or may not be affecting you. Business accelerator program, has that been affected?
Yeah.
Yep. IT consultant? Probably not. Restaurant? Yep. And investors? Okay, so let's have a look then at what else besides volcanoes, what else could affect any of these jobs? So there's all sorts of... Oh, we run out of paper. Oh. Is this all the paper we've got? We've got some more? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Start off with natural disasters. Yep. Oh. I need to describe disasters. All right. What else would affect any of the business? Think about your own business. And besides a natural disaster, what else could affect it? Changes in taxation? Taxation. Changes. Okay. Government. Yeah. Yeah. Government. Was that immigration policy? Yeah. Thank you. Government. Health. Yeah. I mean, we can have external natural disasters. We can have internal natural disasters. So health. For many of us, health is the big one, because for most of us, certainly in the early stages of a business, we are the business. So if we're not well, if we have an issue, then the business doesn't function at all. The boom and bust thing, this was an example that I had. I've run a therapy business for 12 years in Australia, and I lived in a very busy little town called Port Hedland, which is only a 2-hour flight from here. And it's a mining town. It's not actually a mining town, but it's the port that all the iron ore comes out through. And we went through a boom. We went through a real boom. Now, interestingly enough, remember what I said, that in a bad situation, there's always good things? Well, in a good situation, there's always bad things. Because for the small businesses like myself, we struggled to be able to rent somewhere because the rents had gone through the roof. So it's a real balancing act. But of course, what happens after a boom? Bust. Yes, and who wasn't waterproof or watertight with her business? So I went from 30 clients a week, being fully booked up 2 weeks in advance, to 5 clients a week. That was a big hit to my income. So there's a lot of things that are external that we really can't do anything about. I grew up in a farming community, and I said to my kids, you can do anything you like, but you're not going into farming because there are so many external circumstances that will affect you. It doesn't matter how good your practices are. If the weather is bad, you've lost your crop. So if we have a look at these, if we've got a natural disaster, what do you think you could do to turn that into a positive? If we take the volcano, for example. So no, not just a hotel. Think about your own business. What can you do that would allow you to perhaps move somewhere else? I'll give you an example. When my business folded, and I kept it going for much longer than I would have done had I been able to rent somewhere, so that boom-bust thing actually worked for me. I worked from home. But what happened is it caused me to start thinking outside the square, and I realized that it was going to take several years for that bust to start climbing back up. So the reality of it wasn't good advice to stay put doing what I was doing. So I then moved into the coaching world and doing what I'm doing now, which I have to tell you was the best experience I've ever had. My life is so different now to what it was before. So that was me looking for the opportunity. It was like, okay, you've got to do something. What are you going to do? Sorry, microphone.
No, I think it's what you are saying, to draw yourself back and actually take a look from outside, no?
Yeah. And it's really, sometimes when we're the only person in the business, we can get very caught up doing everything that we actually don't stop back, take a step back and look at the business structure itself. Especially when we get busy. Like I said, I was booked up 2 weeks in advance. I didn't have time to do anything. I was just so busy just keeping up with the clients that I wasn't able to put those structures in place that would have made my business watertight. So yeah, that's a great one. It's a really good opportunity to take a step back and say, are we still on the right direction? And sometimes you will be. It's just a little bit of a road bump. And other times, there's another opportunity that'll open up that will take you, maybe not too far away, but it'll take you off on a slightly different direction. That's a great one, Ian. Renew your costs and renegotiate your contracts. Thanks. So, Rob, can you just put that microphone? Oh, thanks. Just put it on the table. Thank you. Okay, so what else? Come back to your business. Think about the dive business. I know it's not your business, guys, but you put your business heads on now. Yeah, just grab the microphone. What could you do, and your boss will love you when you go back and tell him this, what could you do to help the dive business pick up after it's been so quiet?
We're trying to find new clients, but not from overseas, but from Indonesia. So clients who are already here. So Balinese people, Indonesian people.
Okay.
We're trying to promote our business to schools. So people for sure stay in Bali, whatever happens, they are already here. So yeah, we're trying now to target the local people.
Okay,
and
so you're
not
switching your
anymore
market a little bit. So instead of just looking at the tourists, you're looking at locals.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why we're
so
doing at the moment.
okay, so that could actually spawn a whole new thing with people wanting to learn how to become dive instructors.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody didn't hear that? You can hide from the dust from the volcano. So what would be a good business to get into if we've got the volcano going up? Selling masks. And I bet you anything you like that the sales of these masks have gone up. Yeah? All right. Santos, any ideas on what could...
You could explore new regions, new markets potentially.
Yep.
Many times when you focus on only one market, you close yourself to it, and there's an opportunity right next door that you may not have looked at, and this could maybe help you look at that.
Yep. So it really does give us a good opportunity to take a step back and really think about what else is possible. Good. Absolutely. So good question there. What can you do with volcano dust? Maybe there's a use for volcano dust. They actually do. There we go. Sorry,
They make all the bricks. They make bricks and other things with it. So
well, there you go. So
they're actually doing it right now with the stuff from the eruption from 1963. It's already going on. So now as it erupts and the new stuff comes out, they're just going to continue with it.
That's awesome. So, well done, Ian.
Just so much material out there.
Yep. Okay. Any...
So far during volcano eruption, so we give special price for our guests to increase revenue, and we are more focused for domestic guests than international guests.
Okay, so very similar to the dive school. So what about with businesses such as hotels, restaurants, and dive schools? What about something along the lines of bring a friend for half price? Because then you're actually increasing the amount of people coming in rather than just focusing on them. It's just thought. But yeah. So there's lots of things we can do. What happens? I'll put the top on this before I asphyxiate with smell. Also, let's have a go. Here. So we got some ideas here. We're not going to come up with solutions for everything. What I would like you to start doing is to start thinking differently, because I think, as Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So if you have a challenge, you need to step back and need to say, well, what else can I do? I remember reason about halfway through my business. It's a fairly small town, so there's not many people doing what I did. There wasn't a lot of competition. And new guy came to town. He was more qualified than I was. He was all singing, all dancing, all the rest of it. People said, oh, what are you going to do? He's going to take all your clients. And I said, well, if you take some of my clients, then I don't want those clients in the first place. But what it did was it taught me to be creative. So I started creating packages that he couldn't do because I had other stuff that I hadn't really been using as much. So I then brought things in together and created different packages. And my business went through the roof. It really, really did. I just put in simply buy 10 treatments and only pay for 8. My cash flow went through the roof. So it taught me to be creative. Now, I wouldn't have done that had he not come in with the threat of competition. So that was the nugget that was in there. And there is always, always, always a nugget in there. If we think, who's familiar with the law of polarity? The law of polarity, it's a natural law. There's a lot of natural laws, and I'm going to read this so I'll make sure I get it right. The law of polarity states that everything that exists has an equal and exact opposite. To put it even stronger, for anything to exist, there has to be an equal and exact opposite. For example, you cannot experience sadness without having an idea about happiness. You can't have black without white. All these things. So there is always good and bad in everything. So which are you going to find? Absolutely. It's up to you. You will find what you look for. All right? And that comes from the law of attraction, or the law of vibration. So let me just go back. So with the law of polarity, we have some higher faculties called reasoning, perception, imagination, intuition, will and memory. But this is where we can start to use those. So when we come up with, we're looking for something, we can start to use the reasoning. We can start to use the perception. Because each one of you looking at me is seeing something slightly different, because you're all sitting in a slightly different position. So if we all went and stood at the front of here and said, describe Genius Cafe, we would all describe it from that viewpoint. But if somebody came over the back here and described it, they would have a different viewpoint. So we have those muscles, if you like. And those muscles are really worth developing. So they're perception, being able to see things from a different perspective, reasoning, working out how things can happen, intuition. Oh, we don't use that one very often, do we? Intuition is really, really valuable when we learn how to tap into it. And imagination. And we stopped using that when it was knocked out of us at school. So bring those things back in, because the more you can use those, the more you develop them. And they're muscles that you can develop just like going to the gym. Yeah, there's lots of books out on how to develop all these things. And the more you develop those, the stronger you'll be able to deal with any situation. So let's just have a quick look at the law of vibration, which states that anything that exists in our universe, whether seen or unseen, broken down into and analyzed in its purest and most basic form, consists of pure energy or light, which resonates and exists as a vibratory frequency or pattern. So, have we got a page? Are we going to... So we just grab another... Excuse me, guys. I'll just take this off.
Lisa, it's coming. They're
Okay.
bringing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
we prepared it for you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
While we're
Yes.
waiting for that,
Yep.
I don't know if it helps, but back on what we were talking about, we'd done natural disasters, but I really resonate with what you were saying about a good thing out of bad things, because being a landlord for years, property in the UK was going up and going up, and rents were going up, and that was all fantastic. And then because property was going up so much, but interest rates at the bank were so low, everyone started buying property. Yeah. And then suddenly, as the landlord, I found no one wanted to rent my property because they could all go and buy their own very cheaply. Yeah. And so my rents went down, but the whole country was having a boom. And then suddenly we had this crisis, and the banks wouldn't lend anymore, and everyone was in utter depression. And then I found all my properties, I had more tenants than I could deal with because no one could buy property anymore. So now they wanted to rent.
Yeah.
So I've had a personal experience of exactly what you're talking about.
Awesome. Well, that was actually something that I was going to ask next, but that's good. Has anybody else had a situation where it appeared to be a really bad thing, but it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened, or it turned out to be a really good thing? Does that mean nobody's ever had anything bad happen?
You mean personal experience or professional?
Personally or professionally.
I had meningitis. I broke up with my fucking boyfriend. That was creepy. And then 3 months later, I got the job at the organizing committee of Olympic Games and Paralympic Games in Russia. It was awesome. Yeah.
Wow. So there's a classic example of... okay. All right. That's Elise having fun over there. She's pulling things out of her carpet bag. She's a bit cheeky like that. All right, that's fantastic. And that is just, I've got a whole story. I've written a book, and it's got a whole heap of things like that, the advantages that have turned out when you look for the good. But the reality of it is, you will only find what you're looking for. And we had this conversation a minute ago, didn't we, Julie, when we said that whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So let me just explain this. I need to draw some lines. Imagine these are straight lines. They're straight, aren't they? That's right, they're vibrating. Because everything is vibrating. Okay, so I'm going to use water, ice, water and steam as an example. Okay, so if we've got ice cubes down here, Okay, we've got ice cubes. And then we have water. These are little drops of water, okay? Honest. Okay, and then we have steam. Now you can see that, can't you? You can see that that is ice. You can see that that is water. And you can see that is steam. Perfect. All right. Now, if I'm on the ice vibration or in the freezer, am I going to be able to find water or steam? No. The only thing I'm going to find in the freezer is ice. Okay? So if I'm in the freezer and I don't want to be in the freezer, I want to be water or I want to be steam, what do I have to do? I have to move, absolutely. So I have to get from here to either here or even better, up there, depending on what I want to be, of course. So you cannot find anything in the freezer except ice. Well, frozen food, but frozen stuff. So if you're in the freezer, i.e. you're at the bottom because everything's going wrong, what are you going to find? More things go wrong. Yeah, because you're looking for them. So you will find them. The only way you can find anything different is to get out of the freezer and into the pantry or into the kitchen and then into the kettle. Does that make sense? Okay. Put the top on that. Okay. So putting another way, what are you looking for in a situation? Are you looking for the fallen fruit on the ground, along with everybody else? Or are you looking for a ladder to climb the tree and pick the fruit at the top, where nobody else is? And by the way, which is the better fruit? The fruit that's fallen or the fruit that's still on the tree? The fruit that's still on the tree. It depends. It does depend how hungry you are. However, you've got more competition when you're foraging on the ground because everybody is looking for the easy pickings. So it requires you to step up a little bit, get a ladder, step up, climb up into the tree, and start looking for the better quality fruit. So you will only find what you're looking for. If you're on the ladder, what are you going to find? You're going to find better quality fruit. Okay, it's the lower quality fruit that drops off first. All right? So does anybody understand how that works in the mind? You know, how we attract what we're thinking? Has anybody ever heard of the RAS, the reticular activating system? Yeah, you've heard of it? Anybody else? Hello. You've heard of it? Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, so the reticular activating system is a part of the brain, I won't get into details, but it's a part of the brain that focuses in on something. So have you ever gone to buy a new car, and the minute you decided you're going to buy that car, you see that model, that color, you see it everywhere you go? Yeah? Anybody who's ever been pregnant will tell you that the minute you get pregnant, every other woman in the world is pregnant. Okay, she's not. She didn't suddenly appear. That car that you want to buy didn't suddenly appear. You didn't suddenly have a mass dumping of red Ford Fiestas or whatever. Okay, they were always there, but you weren't tuned in to notice them because your RAS wasn't set for them. So when you tune in to look for opportunities, you will start to find those opportunities. So when you move from here and say, I want to get out of the freezer, I want to go in the kettle, then you're going to start finding opportunities that will get you out of here and up to here. But if you don't change down here, that's not going to happen. You have to make a decision. Okay, now when you make the decision, weird and wonderful things happen. One is that you set the RAS. So your RAS now starts to look for opportunities. Now let me tell you that those opportunities are already here. We just don't notice them because we're not tuned in for them. Let me give you an example. If we went out into the kitchen at the back here, we're not going to, but if we went out to the kitchen, pretty much they have got everything they need to make every item on the menu. but they cannot start cooking your meal until you place your order. You make a decision and you place your order. But everything they need is already there. Well, the universe is the same. Everything you already need is already here. But you just don't see it because we don't go into the back kitchen. So when you place your order, you make a decision, okay, I'm going to look for an opportunity, then you will start to find the opportunities. The universe will start providing them for you. And you go, how did I not see that before? It's always been there. Have you ever done that? Have you woken up and go, why didn't I think of that before? Yeah? The chances are that you've switched something in your RAS and you're starting to focus on something different. So the opportunities are always, always there. We just got to look for them. And sometimes they're not quite in the form that we understand, that we recognize. Like all the money we ever need, guys, is already here. But it might be in the form of a book. It might be in the form of service. It might be in the form of property. It could be in whatever form. But we talk about money and we only see cash. But as an energy, it's in lots of different forms. It's up to us to transform it from the form that it's in into the form that we want it. So you can have so much fun with this. Make a decision to look for something. Make a decision to say, okay, I'm going to start seeing whatever. And you will see them. There's a really good book called The Universe Has Your Back. And there's a challenge in that. It says, determine a sign, your sign, and then allow the universe to show you that you're on the right track. So the universe will show you your sign. And people call butterflies and owls and all this sort of stuff. Well, I wanted something that was going to be, I wasn't going to come across easily. I've got butterflies all through my business. That's not going to work for me. So I said, a bell. Now, I was staying with friends in Australia, and within an hour, an ice cream van came round. Not with an ice cream chime, came down with a ding dong bell. It was so funny. I mean, but that was because I was focusing on that. Now, had I not been there, I would have gone somewhere else, and I would have either seen pictures of a bell or heard a bell. So when you make that decision and you start to focus on what you want, you will start to find opportunities that will get you there. Okay, now on the front of it, they might not seem like the right opportunities, but explore them anyway. You know, have you ever been to an event and it's not been what you thought it was going to be, but you met somebody that changed things? That's how I wrote my book. I went to a marketing weekend workshop. I had no idea why I was there, and I told the girl, I don't know why I'm here. It wasn't relevant to me. But by the end of it, I was writing a book. I had no plans to write a book. So just know that when you shift, you make a decision on something, opportunities will start to open up. But you cannot see those opportunities when you're in the freezer. Okay, you have to change your vibration. Are there any questions on that? How are we doing for time?
Yeah, we still have a few minutes for you to speak, and then after that, we're going to have question and answer session.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, I don't wish to be too challenging, but
Go for it.
The thing I have difficulty with is I totally know what you mean about buying the car and then seeing those cars, and I've completely had the experience that when I start looking for something, I see more of it. What I don't understand is the relationship to the example of the bell. You know, why would seeing a bell be a sign? I just missed the link.
Okay, sorry. Just because we worked on the law of vibration, and I'd asked for a sign to show that I was on the right frequency. So I was on the frequency of a bell.
So the frequency of what you were doing with your business. So if
Yes.
if your packages were the right thing,
Yeah.
you would
Then
see
I
a
would say-
bell.
Yeah. So
I don't
just a way
understand why that would happen. The reticular activating system wouldn't do that. It wouldn't send a bell.
No, you're right. It wouldn't. What happens is the law of vibration.
Right.
So the two work together. Okay. When we're on the law of vibration, we will attract in whatever we're on. So when I started thinking bells, I moved on to the vibration of bells. Does that make sense? Why I would want to be on a bell frequency, I'm not quite sure. But
thank you. That was the next question. Okay, good.
But we remember I said earlier on that we're all vibration. You know that quote about the law of vibration. So we're all at different vibrations, and our thoughts are at different vibrations. Have you ever walked into a room where you've felt like you could cut the atmosphere with a knife, where it's a really heavy vibration, and you can be feeling really good, and you walk in and you immediately start to shrink down? Or the opposite can happen. You can feel absolutely, I don't want to go out, and your friends drag you out, and you walk into the room, the music's pumping, and all of a sudden you're full of energy. Okay, that's just energy. But you will, hello mate.
We have a new friend here.
Yeah, come and join us. You will find that whatever frequency you're on, you can only attract that. So if you're on a low frequency, then you'll only attract ice on the low frequency. Okay. Hello, mate. So the bell really was just about how to use that to just, and it was just a thing to say, well, am I on the right path or not? So you can do that. But yeah, perhaps it was a little bit confusing. I should have just left it out. Sorry. So if we come back to the vibrations, wherever your level of thinking is what you're going to attract. Now, how do you know what your level of thinking is? You have a look at what's going on in your life. Okay, because the law of attraction, has anybody ever watched The Secret or read The Secret? Okay, everybody got frustrated because it didn't seem to work very well? Okay, well, the reason for that, and wind me down when it's time, because this is extra. The reason for that is that when we, where was I going with that? Rewind. When we talk about the affirmations, yeah, we say what we're going to do, we're talking in the conscious mind. But the law of vibration works with the subconscious mind. So it works with those programs that are in here. And we don't know what's in here. This is our MS-DOS. This is the hardware. We have no idea what's in here. But that's why we don't get the results that we want. And I did talk about this at a talk about a month ago, wasn't it? A few weeks ago. So really, that's why the law of attraction doesn't appear to work, because we're trying to make it work with the software instead of with the hardware, and the two are not compatible. And if you've ever tried downloading software that's not compatible with your hardware, you'll know that you don't get the results that you want. Any questions? We've got a microphone there.
I mean, yeah, it's just how to first change vibration if you're stuck on one, because it can happen, you know, like you can just make yourself want to feel more positive, to see things, but, you know, you can be stuck in it. And also once you are there, to maintain it, right? I mean, there's also things like, which maybe spiritual practices are, which could actually, with a true intention, change you and keep you there. But, yeah, once you are in a normal life more again, you know, it's not always easy, huh?
Yeah, actually, and that's a beautiful question. And you will not believe how easy the answer is. The solution is so easy, you'll go. Gratitude. You cannot be grateful and negative at the same time. They're opposite ends. It's not possible. So write a gratitude list and make this part of your daily practice. Okay? 5 to 10 things every day that you're grateful for. And even if you had a bad night's sleep, you can be grateful that you had a bed to sleep in. Because we forget to be grateful for the little things. It's really interesting. Did you know that we are in the 90% wealthiest people? Sorry, we're the 10% wealthiest people in the world. And we're all going, no, I'm not. Because you're comparing yourself with the 9% above you, not the 90% below you. It's what we do. I had a beautiful experience of this on an airplane. I was really, really pleased because I had 2 seats. And then I looked up and the guy over had all 3. And I immediately went, oh, it's not fair. Until I realized, hang on a minute, Bowen, get your act together. You've got 2 seats. There's people back there who've only got 1. Just be grateful. But instinctively, I went, oh, he's got more than me. It's some weird programming that we have. Sorry. But if you come back to the gratitude every day, just for simple things, as well as the bigger things, then you will shift your frequency. You will shift that vibration. And it's the only way I know that is guaranteed to get you there and maintain it. And it really is that simple. Any more questions? So basically, just in summary, it's all about your vibration. There is always a gift in every situation, and you'll only find it if you're on the right vibration. Yeah, it's sitting there waiting for you. But if you're on the wrong vibration, you won't bother to unwrap it. So do your gratitude list and start looking for the opportunities. Because trust me, they are out there. And they're sitting waiting. They're waiting for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And we still have time for a question and answer session. So if you still have questions in mind, please ask Lisa. Anything relevant to the topic, of course.
Ask me anything session right now.
Yeah.
So I can't ask you if the weather's going to be good all week. Okay, I've got that.
Does it matter? Because there's going to be a gift in it, whatever the weather is.
Oh,
and if you come from the UK,
it's better than there.
Absolutely. You know, it's warm. Okay, I just got absolutely wet through going to Denpasar, and I had to go through water that deep, and it was just warm, and it was like, okay, I can do this.
So my real question was, what's your general coaching about? You were starting to tell us a bit about yourself.
All right.
What do you do?
Okay, I'm a mindset coach, and I work with Bob Proctor from The Secret. I've done a lot of work with John DeMartini also, but I'm a consultant for the Thinking into Results program, which is Bob Proctor's program. So it's a 6-month program that I teach and take people to really master all those things that we talked about and so much more. It's an amazing program. So yeah, it's what I love about it from the coaching perspective is that I'm not locked into any one genre, because it doesn't matter whether we're working with businesses, whether we're working with weight, the health, finances, whatever. If we don't get that mindset right, we're not going to get the results. So I love it. It gives me a huge diversity.
Or you just won't recognise the results when they're happening. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from Dee?
Yeah, about this movie Secret. So this, it created a whole new movement of other documentaries about mindset and energy of thought and everything. But it seems like these movies are just another scam. And how do you... and Bob Proctor in this movie as well. And I believe that he's a very well-known mindset facilitator, coach and everything. Yeah. But this Secret made him and other people look and sound like a scam, because people watch The Secret and they don't really know what they're doing. So what do you say about that?
All right. Well, first of all, the one thing that isn't known, and I know this from John DeMartini, Bob, and one of the other guys, I can't remember, one of the Joes, but I can't remember which. Was it Joe Dispenza or was it Joe Vitale? One of them anyway, I can't remember. But they have all said that if they didn't have input in what went into the movie, they obviously created a lot more, and a selection was taken out. And all of them, if they had a say over what went into that movie, would have put something different in. So that's a start. I think the key thing for the movie was to wake people up to the fact that there's something different. And really, we've got to start thinking. We're moving into a new world, and we have to think differently. What's been working for the last 100 years or so isn't working anymore. It's not relevant. So we have to start thinking differently. And the good thing about The Secret was it woke people up to start. They might not follow The Secret, but it's woken them up to the fact that there is a different way. And that will spawn other things. There's a new movie just come out, also with Bob in it. I haven't seen it yet. And it's Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, which has only just been released. And I think Bob has had a bit more input into that than he did with the other one. So, yeah, The Secret, again, was good and bad. There were other people dismissed it, but there were a lot of people. It woke me up. It really helped me. I mean, I was already on the path, but it really helped me get some clarity around a lot of things. So it would have been nice if there'd been a sequel to it that went and explained that it's not in the conscious mind, it's in the subconscious mind. And if you actually do any work with John DeMartini or Bob or any of the others, you'll know that's where they work from. They don't work from the conscious mind. Thank you.
Right, so it is based on interpretation because actually audience interpret everything, like all the information differently. So they filter it according to their cultures and their paradigms and then other information that they have in mind. All right, so do we have another question for Lisa?
Dia?
So actually this case happened in my hotel last December. So I'm one of top app seller in my department and I did some mistake. And I got information they tried to cut my incentive around 2.5 million. And my manager said, it's alright, just letting go, just learn from your mistake. Yeah, I can accept it. I admitted it was my mistake, but I still difficult to letting go. It's like subconscious me, I cannot accept it. How to letting go something.
All right. Well done for acknowledging. And yes, it can be hard to let go, especially when it doesn't appear to be our fault. When you start looking for the gift in it, then you'll start to find something different and you'll be able to let it go. So ask yourself, what was the lesson in this? What was this about? What was this here to teach me? And then you'll start to see something else. To say, what is the good in this? Yeah, and you will find it, honestly, if you look for it, you will find it. It will open up opportunities or make you realize, you step up a little bit because you realize where you made a mistake and you go, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And just that mistake will lead you to a promotion later on. Yeah, who knows? But just look for the gift in there because it is in there somewhere. I promise. Any more questions?
Right. Any more questions? No?
Okay, it must be party time.
Right, so thank you so much for Lisa. Thank you so much for coming here. And it's a very thought-provoking workshop, yeah, especially for me. And I hope for everyone here. And so thank you everyone for coming here. And the takeaways that we can take from this workshop, I suppose, is stay positive. Because actually in that situation, there is good opportunities. Yeah, and I suppose that you have discount coupons that you can use for enjoying your meal here. And thank you once again. So enjoy your time and please mingle with everyone around here because this is a co-working space and where you can network with your like-minded people. Right. Can we give another applause for our guest speaker today? Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.